What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Dan Tamberry Mello, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report for Thursday, June 26, 2014, delivering some of the major stories going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, that's RAYMELO, and on Twitter at The Enter Report. According to TMZ, Ecstasy played a central role in the 911 emergency Wednesday night that sent dozens of Avicii concertgoers to the hospital. Law enforcement sources in Boston tell TMZ some of the concertgoers were high on ecstasy, and it created a dangerous situation because the pit area was extremely hot and crowded. Dehydration is a common side effect for ecstasy users. Many of those taken to the ER were severely dehydrated. What's unclear where all the concertgoers got the ecstasy and if a particular batch fueled the emergency. One concertgoer told TMZ, in addition to hard drugs, the place smelled like weed and puke, and some people were so wasted that they were falling downstairs, urinating in the back row, and passing out. In all, 36 people were taken to local hospitals, and an additional 50 were treated at the scene. Avicii is known for his last year's hit, Wake Me Up, which featured Aloe Black. Survivor star Caleb Bankston, who died in a freak train derailment Tuesday, will be buried Thursday in Alabama, and the railroad company where he works will foot the bill for the funeral, TMZ has learned. A rep for Wacko Companies, which operate the Alabama Warrior Railroad where the derailment occurred, says it's been in contact with Bankston's family and has promised to cover all of the burial expenses. TMZ broke the story. The 26-year-old train engineer was crushed between two rail cars when one of the cars unexpectedly jumped the tracks. The cause of the derailment is still under investigation. Caleb was engaged to marry Colton Cumbie this fall. The two appeared together last year on Survivor Blood versus Water. Rob Kardashian's family wants Rob to get help for what they say is a very bad drug problem. Sources directly connected with the family tell TMZ. TMZ sources say the family is well aware of what's going on with Rob, depicted by photos during a drug-fueled party a few days ago. The photos show Rob holding a double cup, the container of the choice of syrup. The cup on the table actually has the words Codeine Boys emblazoned on it. He is also seen smoking weed. And TMZ as well told the Kardashians have been calling rehab facilities, but Rob refuses to go. They feel desperate because they don't know what to do and hope pictures like these may change Rob's mind. Kardashians have stepped up before attempting an intervention for Lamar Odom's drug problem. The delusional man that broke into the home of Love and Basketball star Shayna Latham and was found living in her home just pleaded guilty to criminal trespassing and will be going some serious head shaking for the next year. Sean Capulis pleaded guilty Thursday to the crime in order to stay away from Shayna and her home for 3 years. He is also on 3 years probation. Capulis told cops he was Shayna's husband, was shooed away from the house earlier this month, but then reappeared later that day. Latham told him to get the F out of here, but he refused to leave, so the cops came and arrested him. Capulis is ordered to undergo psychiatric counseling for 1 year. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta star Erica Pinkett was savagely attacked in a nightclub, and Pinkett says she told police the hit was ordered by a jealous rival on the show. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ Pinkett was coming out of the bathroom in Atlanta's Taboo Club June 9th when a woman came up from behind her, hit her in the face, and then threw her to the ground and slashed her arm with a razor blade. It was reported that the gash spewed blood so badly it looked like a scene from a horror movie. Pinkett tells police she thinks the attack was ordered by a fellow Love and Hip Hop Atlanta star, Bambi Johnson, because the two have had arguments over Pinkett's relationship with Johnson's boyfriend, Little Scrappy. One of the fights aired on the show. According to the police report obtained by TMZ, the beating suspect left the club before cops arrived. Stephanie Nicole Harp was arrested this morning for committing aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Transformers: The Age of Extinction thunders into multiplex this weekend, aiming to prove that the summer blockbuster is anything but an endangered species. The Paramount Pictures release is on track to generate more than $100 million over the weekend when it debuts in 4,200 locations, 353 of which are AMAX. The studio is being more conservative with its projections and putting the number between 90 million to 100 million. If it hits those lofty heights, it will rank as the year's biggest opener. Captain America: The Winter Soldier currently ranks number 1 with 95 million. According to Phil Contrino, the Vice President and Chief Analyst at BoxOffice.com, he says the market is wide open for a big hit and the brand recognition of the Transformers franchise is pretty staggering. He also adds, even if it doesn't win the Summer of the Year at the domestic box office, its overseas potential is huge, and that's the name of the game. To that end, Paramount is planning an ambitious international rollout that will see Transformers Age of Extinction open in 37 markets, including such territories as South Korea, Australia, and Russia. The comparable gross for opening weekends in these territories for the most recent films in the series is $162 million, which provides a sense of the franchise's global appeal and profitability. The big plum will be China, where the picture will open day and date with the United States after having filmed extensively in the country and on national landmarks such as the Great Wall. China, the world's second largest market for film, could contribute $200 million or more to the sequel's bottom line, analysts say, topping the more than $160 million the People's Republic contributes in receipts for Transformers Dark of the Moon. The Transformers film represents a license to print money for Paramount and Hasbro, the company behind the iconic toy line, having brought in more than $2.6 billion at the global box office and $7 billion in merchandising. BBC Worldwide Productions France has been tapped by Paybox Canal Plus to produce a documentary film about French electro band Daft Punk. The one-hour document announced at the non-fiction CAFAB Sunnyside marked BBC's Worldwide's first commission from Canal Plus and is scheduled to air in 2015. Directed by Hervé Martin Delpierre and co-written by Marina Rosenman, the documentary will chronicle the rise in artistic world of the two award-winning DJs Thomas Bangalter and Guy Manuel de Homie Christophe, who formed Daft Punk in the 90s and became the leading figures of the French touch scene. Throughout their 20-year career, the duo dynamized the European techno house scene and sold more than 12 million albums worldwide, as well as won 6 Grammy Awards. Jean-Louis Blot, head of BBC World Productions France, is producing the documentary with Patrice Gel. He said, quote, "We are proud to announce our first commission with Canal Plus Group on such an original and creative film," said Jean-Louis Blot, topper of BBC Worldwide Productions France. He also says BBC Worldwide France stands as a major French producer of documentaries with stunning production values and universal appeals. The government of North Korea Tuesday issued an unsurprisingly harsh statement about Seth Rogen's upcoming film, The Interview, denouncing the action comedy as a, quote, act of war, end quote. In the movie, Rogen and James Franco star as two journalists who, after scoring an interview with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, are ordered by the CIA to assassinate him. In a statement published by the state-run KCNA news agency, a foreign ministry spokesman characterized Rogen as a, quote, gangster filmmaker, end quote, and called upon the U.S. to block the film, according to a report from the AFP. They said, the act of making and screening such a movie that portrays an attack on our top leadership is a most wanton act of terror and an act of war, and it's absolutely intolerable, the spokesperson said, adding that the U.S. would face a, quote, resolute and merciless response, end quote, if it fails to ban the film, which is slated for release later that year. They also wrote down it shows the desperation of us, of the U.S. government and American society. Kim Young-choi, an unofficial spokesman for the North Korean government, was similarly critical of the film in an interview with The Telegraph last week. He said, there is a special irony in this storyline as it shows the desperation of the U.S. government and American society. He also says, a film about assassination of a foreign leader mirrors what the U.S. has done in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and Ukraine. And let's not forget who killed President Kennedy, Americans. In fact, President Obama should be careful in case the U.S. military wants to kill him as well, end quote. The North Korean regime is certainly no stranger to belligerent rhetoric, having warned the U.S. and its allies of merciless punishment on multiple occasions. Rogen, meanwhile, seems to have taken the criticism in stride. He wrote in his Twitter, apparently Kim Jong-un plans on watching it. I hope he likes it. The biggest Food Network on TV wants a piece of the biggest food network on YouTube. Tastemade, a large network of food-centric online video channels, have raised $25 million in a Series C round led by Scripps Network Interactive. Scripps owns a variety of lifestyle TV channels, including the Travel Channel, HGTV, and the Food Network. Tastemade has billed itself as the Food Network for the 21st century, distributing short film videos from an international cast of chefs, enthusiasts, and explorers. It just won a James Beard Award for its show Thirsty For, which shows drink specials from around the world. Tastemade's channels have reached 18 million people every month on YouTube, generating more than 100 million views. Yet it does not own most of those channels, nor does it produce most of those shows. It helps the creators in its network monetize their work by selling ads, partnering with brands, and generating more favorable deals with advertisers. It also helps them grow their brand and expand their audience. Tastemade has produced a couple of series of its own of late, including Coastal, a series that sends chefs to different seaport towns across the country. It partnered with Stella Artois Coastal and struck a deal with Grey Goose for another series. It wants to produce more of its own shows, and this new cash will help. Larry Fitzgibbon, a co-founder of Tastemade, told The Wrap, the network has continued to grow rapidly, striking the partnerships with brands around sponsoring of high-quality content. That's a relatively new business for us. Tastemade will also use a new capital to argue its product and engineering teams. Half of its 30% teams is technical, and that remains the most important area of growth. It just launched an Android version of its app, which lets anyone film a brief video about something they ate or cooked. The majority of the Tastemade video views come from mobile devices. Tastemade has now raised more than $40 million, and exiting investors such as Redpoint Ventures, Rain Ventures, and Comcast Ventures participated in this latest round. The biggest news in this deal is the alliance with Scripps. Scripps appealed to Tastemade because of potential synergies between two companies. Fitzgibbon describes them as a leader in lifestyle that brings strong relationships with advertisers. The Tastemade brings a group of strong executives to understand what people want to read, search for, and watch online, in particular on YouTube. That is something every media company from Disney to Comcast will pay to bring in-house. Earlier this month, pop singer Demi Lovato took to the streets of West Hollywood to film her new music video for Really Don't Care among the relevers of LA Pride, for which she also acted as the Grand Marshal. It's probably not a coincidence it's been released on the first anniversary of the Supreme Court's striking down anti-gay marriage laws, DOMA, and California's own Proposition 8. There's dancing, makeup, rainbows, and cameo appearances from the pop star's famous friends, including the Vampire Diaries star Kate Graham, Perez Hilton, and Lovato's real-life beau Wilder Valderrama. Lovato kicks off by addressing anti-gay protesters. You don't have to hate because my Jesus loves all. She then launches into her song about ending a bad relationship for good, turning it into a message of empowerment, featuring a guest verse from British pop star Cheryl Lloyd. Really Don't Care is the fourth single of Lovato's new album entitled Demi. And finally, soft drinking New Yorkers can celebrate with a big gulp or three because the city's so-called soda ban was struck down on Thursday. In a 4-2 decision, the New York State Court of Appeals decided not to reinstate the ban on sugary soft drinks larger than 16 ounces. The law was originally enacted by former Mayor Michael Bloomberg in March of 2013 and overturned by a lower court 4 months later. Judge Eugene F. Picott Jr. in his 20-page decision wrote, the ban exceeded the scope of the City Boards of Health's regulatory authority. As the Wrap reported last year, the fate of the soda ban had been in the hands of various courts since last June. While soda makers most likely view this as a victory, they aren't the only ones. The National Association of Theater Owners said in a statement obtained by the Wrap, I guess you can fight City Hall. This victory is not about soda, nor about obesity. It's about the allocation of power and whether the executive branch can legislate. We are pleased that the court rejected Mayor Bloomberg's gimmicky and unconstitutional attempt to impose an arbitrary and unfair executive decree. However, the sad reality is that this fight took over 2 years while the obesity crisis continued. Current Mayor Bill de Blasio disagreed, said he was extremely disappointed by the ruling, according to the New York Times. After the soda ban originally fizzled in July of 2013, New York's Health Department cautioned it could lead to a rise in diabetes among the city's residents. Health Commissioner Dr. Thomas Farley has said diabetes is a condition that many people live with and die from. It is linked to our epidemic of obesity, and like obesity, it can be prevented. And that is your entertainment report for Thursday, June 26, 2014. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Miller. I'll be back to wrap things up for the week, delivering some of the major stories in the world of entertainment and beyond tomorrow. You can follow the show on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo, that's RAYMELO, and on Twitter @The Enter Report. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.